claimants throughout the country? Or could we send more money to Quebec as compensation? Just for 2024, Quebec had a $700 million shortfall because it was not compensated by the federal government. What does my honourable colleague have to say about this? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I believe that we should be able to spread out the number of asylum claims throughout Canada. We're not going to force people to move to certain parts of the country, but we should find a mechanism that will facilitate a better spread of asylum claims. Yes, we should compensate provinces that welcome a number of asylum claims. These discussions continue with governments, especially the Quebec government.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary, Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering if we could just pick up on the point that the member raised in regards to the first question. This motion, in essence, tries to bring two issues and make it as one, and then try to portray refugees in a very negative light. And if the Conservatives wanted to talk about health care, then my question to the member is, why does he think they didn't just introduce a motion to talk about health care? I would have loved to have done that. But could maybe he just provide his thoughts as why he thinks they didn't do that?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Well, I have my thoughts on that, Mr. Speaker, but I'm afraid they probably would not be parliamentarian language, so I will abstain. I will abstain from going that way. But clearly, to put on the to say that there are very real problems with our healthcare system across Canada are the result of large numbers of asylum seekers. That I find deplorable.
The member for Louis Saint Laurent, a question comment. I'll just remind members who are participating online that perhaps if their microphones aren't connected, they won't be able to intervene. So just encourage those members. Louis Saint Laurent,
the honourable member for Louis Saint Laurent. I respect my colleague. He knows it well. He is an example of successful immigration, just like my parents, but he was also one of the heroes of Quebec's public finances because he's the last minister to have balance the Quebec budget. He should take inspiration from his past to act now for the federal government. The member talked about Roxham Road. He knows full well that on Roxham Road it was written, it's illegal to cross here and you'll be an illegal immigrant. It's the same thing. It's just a different way of saying it. He talked about Roxham Road. What does he believe about Justin Trudeau waiting almost 1 year? He talked about Roxham Road. What does he believe? After the agreement signed with the states to announce that there would be changes. So for 1 year, the Quebec government had to pay because Trudeau said nothing about Roxham Road. Is he proud of Justin Trudeau, his former leader? In 20 seconds. I became an MP in April 2025, so I cannot comment on what happened before, what should have or should not have been done. The issue of the third safe country agreement.
All right, had some issues setting up YouTube, but we're finally good now. It wouldn't accept the thumbnail. We have Nick Shirley at the State of the Union. We have a Moose on the Loose video, and then obviously question period. Let's get right into it.
We're here on Capitol Hill right now. What's this building called that we're in right now? We're in the Cannon Building. And so right now we're in the Cannon Building, and they're going to do a little bit of a media roll. I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes. We're going to do this. Alrighty, let's do this. Alright, we're entering in. David's got the Quality Leering hoodie on right now. David, we're here at State Union. Did you ever imagine that?
Alright, so if the quality's like this the whole time, we will not be watching it. Safe to say.
Alright, you guys, I think we're back. The whole deal. And, dang it. The stream cut out, but now we're back. Okay. The stream was dead. Cut out Rise, we got it Kennedy. Alright, it says we're back for everybody. Alright, guys, for those just joining, we might be deleting the stream later on if the quality's that bad. No, it's alright. Okay. But we're here inside of the Cannon Building. We got Adam from PBD right here. And we got Tony and we got David. The last interview cut out, David, unfortunately. But Adam, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm with the great Nick Shirley and the great David Hoke and the great Tony. I mean, this guy's got a face for camera.
Oh.
Fix him up a little bit. Let's can't have our guy looking like that. Green Beret, thank you for your service, man.
What's around here?
No, it's awesome.
Are you going to be in the State of the Union today?
I'm actually speaking at the State of the Union. President Trump said he wasn't going to make it, so I'm doing it. Me and Nick Shirley.
I don't know if that's what the people want.
No, that's not what they want, dude. The people want more Nick Shirley, though.
Maybe.
Not
We'll
even
see.
a maybe. That's
We got more videos coming.
you should. So, what have you been up to? I saw you were in California.
California. We got another video coming out from California. Here at the State of the Union today. Tomorrow I go somewhere else, and then Friday I'll be somewhere else too. So,
Did you hire an editor yet?
not yet. I need to hire one.
Shirley and I had a great time. I took you to your first Shabbat.
Yeah,
Shabbat
that was
dinner. I don't do
interesting.
this all that often. We started a small one. Then we went to that ridiculous house. What are your thoughts on
All right, I don't really care about what that guy has to say. We have this, though, right here. We have this right here in the past few hours. Mark Carney announces an additional $2 billion in aid to Ukraine, along with another 400 armored vehicles.
There was a meeting this morning, very early this morning, of the Coalition of the Willing. I participated in including President Zelensky, chaired by President Macron, pardon me, and Prime Minister Starmer. Several things to take from that. First, as I said just at the end, Russia is failing to achieve all of its objectives 4 years into this conflict, 12 years if you include its annexation, its illegal annexation of Crimea. But 4 years on, Russia is failing militarily, strategically, and economically. And we are in it for the long term. Canada and the coalition of the willing. And to that end, we will announce shortly, I'm going to announce now, I guess, that we are tightening sanctions, including on the Shadow Fleet, additional 100 vessels in Russia's Shadow Fleet. This is the fleet that effectively facilitates illegal exports of crude oil. So we're tightening that lifeblood from the Russian economy, along with our allies. Also, additional financial sanctions, a lowering of the oil price cap in coordination with the EU and the United Kingdom. In addition, $2 billion of additional aid, military aid for Ukraine over the course of the next year. We're announcing that today. The Minister of National Defense will give details. And in addition to that, something Ukraine needs, which is 400 armored vehicles. We'll be supplying those in kind.
All right, well, there you have it. We're just handing everything over. Let's head back to Nick Shirley. Let's do a little bit of a skip ahead here. I don't entirely care about
needed or listen to the people in the state of California. We have Medicaid fraud, we have unemployment benefits fraud, we have the AI ghost students enrolling, we have SNAP benefits that has been stolen from the really needy families and individuals. I mean, again, this is just so many things out of many that needs to be addressed, but we're not doing it. And in the case of Medicaid fraud, I had to write a letter to the governor to answer to some of the questions as to how it happened and what are the steps that they're going to take a look to maybe reduce that. Instead of getting an answer, we're just getting a runaround. He hasn't even responded or acknowledged my letter. And then I'm so glad Dr. Oz sent a letter following up on around the same time that I did. So now, the state of California is returning $1.6 billion back to the federal government.
Really?
So following up with President Trump's initiative establishing the Anti-Fraud Task Force, my bill, which is No More Scams Act, is going to be more important than ever because it's going to strengthen the Anti-Fraud Task Force by establishing the Anti-Fraud Task Force at the national level. It will be addressing all of the fraud, not just in the state of California or in the state of Minnesota. It's going to be all across the country. So I'm
Very
really
good.
excited about
That needs to
and I
happen.
hope that needed to happen, and we are doing it. And I am working very closely with stakeholders who are affected by this, such as my dear friend over here, Jeff Paul. He's the president and CEO of Orange County Business Council, and he's helping me to move that legislation. And we're going to expose even more fraud that's out there. So again, the federal dollars, especially in Medicaid, are not prioritizing the illegal aliens that came across the southern border. So let's prioritize where the money needs.
All right, we have an insane update here. Let's get this going right now.
Cartel.
Not sure how much of the State of the Union Nick Shirley thing I'm gonna watch here, because it just seems like a big networking fest. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Plus, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on there. But we have more than 70 dead as cartel chaos plagues Mexico. Obviously, this is a ongoing issue right now down there. It's getting crazy.
Cartel violence is rocking the nation of Mexico right now. This week, military forces there killed the country's most powerful drug lord, known as El Mencho. Mexican officials say more than 70 people have died in the aftermath, including security officers, suspected cartel members, and civilians. No Americans have been injured or killed. We know that from the White House press secretary. The State Department says hundreds of Americans trapped inside Mexico have called the emergency helpline. Some are sharing their stories.
We're in lockdown. We can't leave the hotel. If you do leave, you have to sign a waiver. Anything you do beyond that point is on you, basically.
We were hungry yesterday. We had no food yesterday. Nothing. Nothing was open. It was a terrifying day yesterday. My daughter saw the cartel light a car on fire right in front of us. There was fire all around us. It was terrifying.
Jonathan Hunt with the latest. Jonathan.
Harris, with many Americans still stuck in Mexico, the advice from security experts for those planning to travel, including tens of thousands of college kids planning spring break there in Mexico, the advice very simple: don't do it.
It is extremely dangerous right now. It is completely way too volatile. So I advise anybody who's got children who may be going to Mexico for spring break, reconvene. Hey, take the loss because and the money. It is not worth it. It's not worth your child's life.
Honestly, if you were in Mexico right now, you would be best off heading to a U.S. embassy if you can, if you're near one. If not, you're cooked. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, don't travel there. Literally, like, there's no... It's not worth it, period. I would also like to point out that if the power goes out and the stream randomly shuts off, there's a storm kind of brewing right now. The wind is getting a bit crazy, and the snow is brewing. But anyway, so if the stream shuts off, that's why the power most likely went out. Don't go to Mexico right now. It's not good. Very bad.
And many students are taking that advice, watching the violence unfold and changing their plans as a result.
All of our friends got these awesome deals to go to Puerto Vallarta, and I mean, obviously it's the worst right now. Definitely the most sketch. And so they're all canceling it.
I have all my hometown friends from Boulder were booked a trip to Puerto Vallarta through Just College, and it just got canceled. And then we have friends who were supposed to go to PV with their boyfriends, and it all got canceled. And so now everyone's kind of scrambling what to do last minute and trying to get a refund.
Travel advisors say anyone thinking of canceling plans should act as quickly as possible.
Spring break packages are sold differently than most travel. I always advise people to have travel insurance just in case stuff like this occurs. But if you don't have that, I suggest you call your company right now.
And then we have this one here.
The U.S. State Department is telling Americans in Mexico to shelter in place as law enforcement tries to regain control of cities that have fallen into chaos in the hands of the Mexican cartels. This is after the Mexican military took out a notorious cartel kingpin with U.S. support. And we're learning a little bit more about our role in all of that. Not a lot of detail, but we had one. The carnage, cars torched, roads blocked, banks and local businesses set on fire as those cartels are now fighting for power. It's like everybody else is in the middle of a gang war right now. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host Emily Campagno, and also joining us, Tomi Lahren, co-host of The Big Weekend Show and host of Tomi Lahren is Fearless on Outkick. Cheryl Casoni, Fox Business anchor and host of American Dream Home on Fox Business. And Griff Jenkins is with us, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend. Mexico's most
what an awful
wanted
fucking
drug
cast.
lord, known as El Mencho, was killed in a U.S.-backed military raid. He founded a vast criminal network which has the...
Get some people on there with experience in this field, not just a bunch of hosts from other panels on your news platform. Like, what are we doing here?
highest cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine trafficking capacity in Mexico. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt applauded the move, and here's what she wrote. El Mencho was a top target for the Mexican and U.S. government as one of the top traffickers of fentanyl. President Trump has been very clear the U.S. will ensure narco-terrorists sending deadly drugs to our homeland are forced to face the wrath of justice they have long deserved. Former Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb joined me last hour on the Faulkner Focus.
This is exactly what they're doing in Puerto Vallarta. What they are doing is burning buses, lighting gas stations on fire, because they want to create terror for those who struck a nerve. This will create compression amongst those other cartels. We may see more violence stem from this, but what we're seeing right now is their capability for violence, and this should awake Americans up. This is why it's so important to close our borders.
The borders are essentially closed, and the drugs flowing across, Griff, have dwindled to nearly zero, thank goodness. Not quite there, but certainly the human trafficking. What is there for people on the left to catch on to at this point?
So this is a big deal, Harris, and it couldn't be a more dangerous time to be in Mexico because of what Sheriff Lamb was talking about. So a power vacuum was now created. El Mencho was the top trafficker of cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl coming across in the Jalisco New Generation cartel. Now, remember, last summer, El Mayo, who was the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, was taken. The U.S. captured him. It led to a spike in 400% increase in homicides in Mexico. Now we're going to see it even more so because Jalisco New Generation is the dominant cartel. And they're going to start retaliating now against Mexican officials because of this. And don't forget, for 4 years under the Biden administration, they lined their pockets with money. That's why you see these stunning videos of the cartel leaders in armored vehicles that rival U.S. military firepower. They're going to retaliate against the officials, but then they're going to fight the rival factions that are trying to fill El Mencho. And so it's really a lot of unanswered questions of really where and how they're going to retaliate against Mexican officials, and then the war that's going to go on with the cartel, which puts Americans stuck in Mexico at a very, very high risk.
Yeah, the list last night, Tommy, that some of us put out on social media of all the areas that were basically in lockdown, shelter in place, was pretty long. It wasn't just Jalisco and Puerto Vallarta and some of the other areas where we know Americans go, but it was a lot of different states within that country.
I think Americans need to understand something that doesn't feel comfortable, but anytime you as an American travel to Mexico, there is a limited amount of things that the American government can do for you there. Yes, they've put out the warnings, they said shelter in place, they can help you a little bit with the embassy, but when you decide to travel to Mexico, a lot of people think you go to a resort, you're going to be safe, nothing happens there. Well, I think they're finding out the hard way that that's not necessarily true. In 2017, a friend of mine from California was stabbed to death in Playa del Carmen. And that was just walking from bar to bar in a resort area. So I've been sounding the alarm on this for almost 10 years now, saying, if you're an American going to Mexico, have a great time, but understand the risks. And to the point about President Trump and his message, we saw it in the first administration, his message to Mexico was the threat of tariffs if the Mexican military doesn't do their part to secure the border. And then the Mexican military stepped up. Now we flash forward to administration 2.0. President Trump says, I'm not going to tolerate not only the human trafficking, but the drug trafficking. And now the Mexican military, once again, stepping up to do their part to secure their own country. That, in my opinion, is a direct response to President Trump and how tough he's been on this issue.
Talk to me about tariffs, because you knew we'd get there eventually.
All right, well, there you have it. Let's get into this Moose on the Loose video, and then we'll go Most likely into statements by members and then question period. I believe Mark Carney and Pierre should be there today. We'll see, though.
Out of a health budget right now, and yeah, I invite the NDP leader to tell me where. What would he do? Would he not build the schools that we need?
The news is non-stop. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David. Today we've got the brother of the Tumbler Ridge monster has been arrested because he has the same sort of background as, well, the monster himself. We've got polling data coming out of the by-election in Quebec with some shocking results. We got a bunch of stuff. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got Andy Lee posting this. What's that? It's a quarter of a watermelon for $18.28. Welcome to Canada. People keep voting for this stuff. I don't know why, but they're voting for this. If you want a bit of a cheaper option, this one is $17.89. Moving ahead, we've got Conservative Chris Workington posting this. The vote results for the opposition motion automotive strategy. The House calls on the government to fix their auto strategy by scrapping subsidies for foreign-made electric vehicles. They're not going to do this, obviously, but they should be doing this, removing GST on Canadian-made vehicles. This is just common sense. Using their existing authority to reduce the amount of tax withheld on severance payments issued to workers at the GM Cami facility. And, well, of course, the Liberals voted against this because they don't actually care about Canadians. We've got this one here. I can't even really read this out. We've got 4 bad guys are charged for trafficking young ones as young as 11. Got a full rundown of these guys. Mohammed, Omar, Mustafa, Abdo, Yusuf Al-Garubi. This one doesn't have a name. These guys are all from South Asia. Close the border. Time for deportations. Moving ahead, we've got polling data. Let's get into this here. So first off, we got Nano's data with this. 41% Liberals, 33% Conservative, 33.7. We're seeing the Conservatives dropping here almost 3% and the Liberals up 3%. It's almost a direct trade there. Now, what's causing this? It's Donald Trump. Trump coming out, more tariffs, stirring the pot, Gordie Howe Bridge, all this stuff. At this point, for the Conservatives to stop the swing in voting intention, will take something big. You can't just play it easy. They have to come up with some big swings here. Big policy changes, big announcements. Announce that if they get elected into government, they'll be slashing taxes or fixed tax rates. I've seen all sorts of ideas. Capping tax off at 25%, 20%. Dare I even say 15%? I don't know if they do that because there's such a huge deficit. It needs to be paid down now with money because, well, Carney is running us into the ground. First 5 years being the economic advisor to Trudeau, and now he's bankrupting us himself. It has to be something big to get people to snap out of the derangement here coming from Trump. 41% of the population wants to vote for pure evil. The politicians could be sticking forks in their eyes and they'd still vote for it. Yeah, that's the sad truth. Moving ahead, we've got a by-election in Quebec. This is interesting. So this is in the Chicoutimi riding. Now, before we get to the results, what we're looking at here is predictions, and this is coming from Great Canadian Bagel. It says the Léger poll is certainly wrong. So this is what Léger had predicted the outcome would be. So the top one here is the PQ, the Separatist Party. The Liberals in second place at 26%. Legault's party, which is absolutely tanking at 17%. The Conservative Party at 14%. And then the orange one here, I'm assuming this is the NDP party, 7%. Now, if we look at Shirley, he modeled out a prediction. He projected the PQ would be 43%, up 29. The Conservatives at 19% in second. Comparing that to Léger, they have them down here at 14 in fourth place. The CAQ at 16 and the Liberals at 12. And what were the results? Well, check this out. We got Shirley posting this. The Conservative Party has really outperformed expectations, while the CAQ, yeah, they crashed and burned. So we'll look at the actual website here. This is a little bit more up to date. And what do we see? 45% for the PQ party. Now, going back to this, they predicted 32%. Léger said 26% for the Liberals is number 2. Conservative Party at 26%, followed by the CAQ at 12 and the Liberals at 9. To just compare this to this, they protected the Liberals at 26, in reality 9%. And you can see the pie graph down here. The PQ that won is this one, then you've got the Conservative Party is purple. Now, what does this mean federally? The leader of the Conservative Party had been working that riding for a long time, I think since 2018, has got to know the community, built up a lot of trust over time. The provincial politics don't always translate into federal politics, but people do see Conservative on the ballot, which does at some point translate over to federal as well. We do know some people vote Liberal for federal, but then they'll vote for Doug Ford, PC Doug Ford. So it doesn't always completely translate, but I mean, this is a big blowout here considering they were projected at 14 and they got 26. It's a swing of 12%, which is huge. Trey Teese with a good job here, and he didn't even get it. 19 is what he had them at. So it'll be interesting going forward once we get some federal by-elections. This will give us a real sense of where people really are because, while we have these polls coming out, the timing of them, the swings of them with Poilievre's leadership review seems very suspicious. We need a real by-election just to see what people are voting.
6 députés du Parti québécois qui viennent d'apprendre de votre bouche
So this is the Separatist Party that won. This sentiment is just absolutely exploding because, well, Carney's destroying our country.
Une septième collègue
There was a clip I was going to show the other day. I forgot to show it, but there's a lineup in Arizona to sign Alberta separation.
So he was blocking the leader, right? When he was full screen here, you couldn't see how much the total was. They won by almost a full 1,000. So separation in Quebec, it is moving forward with lots of momentum. Like, this isn't just, oh, a small little thing. No, like, this is almost a full 1,000 ahead of the next party. So just keep that in mind.
Petition. It's outrageous. In Arizona, moving ahead, we've got the brother of the Tumbler Ridge monster who was arrested on a Canada-wide warrant. That's right. We got this from the woke CP24. Older brother of the Tumbler Ridge monster has been arrested. Please tell the news here that Jacob Van Roetseler was wanted on Canada-wide warrant for attempted M-word, bad times, ending people. Wood Buffalo RCMP said the 22-year-old was wanted in connection with an incident allegedly involving an edged weapon in 2024 in Fort McMurray. Staff Sergeant Sabrina Clayton said Van Roetseler was arrested on Friday in Sylvan Lake. After Van Roetseler was charged, he was released from custody. He was originally approved to be living in Dawson Creek, BC, but that was later changed to Tumbler Ridge, according to the police. Clayton said in early February that he was not at the approved residence when police checked on him. The Canada-wide warrant was then issued. Now listen to this. It says the news here asked Clayton if the police check was performed on February 10th or shortly afterwards. However, she was not aware of those details. Clayton said Jacob is the older brother of Jesse Van Roetseler, the Tumbler Ridge monster, who ended 8 younglings on February 10th, including her mother and 11-year-old sibling in a mass pew-pew event. That's right, her mother. Enough of this woke garbage. Jesse Van Roetseler was a male. He wasn't a female. Like, enough of this. We got Brittany sharing this. We've got police records for Jacob Van Roetseler, because that's always fun. So you can see October 25th, 2025 and November 5th, 2025. Breach of order, breach of order. And we've got one more here showing birth date. This is quite the family that mother raised, isn't it, huh? Not one, but 2 monsters. And we've got Kel sharing this. We've got a bit more details. At the time of the arrest, officers say he was carrying brass knuckles and now faces additional weapons charges and multiple breaches of prior conditions. What a great family here. Moving ahead, we've got Conservative asking the questions I would ask in committee of the Mark Carney Liberals. And what's she asking here? She's asking about Doug Guzman's conflicts of interest. Just listen to this. She absolutely nails the guy.
Thank you. So given that you are a former colleague and I'm assuming a friend of the Prime Minister, it's really important that Canadians know and can be assured that a friendship won't be used to potentially subvert our ethics requirements. Are you currently subject to any conflict of interest screens similar to those that the Prime Minister is subject to?
I expect to be subject to a conflict of interest screen. Yes, I'm just working it through with the ethics folks.
Okay. So your report has still not been published from the Ethics Commissioner, yet you have been, I'm assuming, making decisions as the CEO of the Defense Investment Agency already?
As I said, I'm ahead of the process in terms of the deadlines, fully disclosed everything. The blind trust that I've been asked to set up is being set up as we speak.
You hear that? Blind trust is being set up because this guy's probably heavily invested in all the same crap that Mark Carney's invested in. Brookfield, AI, green energy, all of it. These guys are all the same. That's why I put this as one of his A-team members. I could sniff this guy out the second his name was announced. I saw he was ex-Goldman Sachs. I knew right away. These guys probably made a pact back in the day. They'd come back together and roll out a big grift. She also noticed too, she mentioned him being friends with Mark Carney. He didn't deny that. So I'm going to infer that these guys are indeed friends. Definitely colleagues for a long time.
The accounts are being moved into them.
But while that is happening, while that is happening, you have been making
my
decisions.
Job responsibilities, and I've been complying with the ethics process as it's laid out.
What a complete joke. This guy's making upwards of $1 million a year. He's making decisions, and he hasn't gone through with his conflicts of interest, his blind trust, all this stuff. Like, come on. He's going to put his assets in a blind trust. I don't know what's in there. I just put it in, but I have no idea. This is all a joke. Sell your assets if you want to make $1 million a year working for the government. Like, give me a break. This is pathetic. Well, the boldness and avant-garde attitude to procedure is really out there. It figures Liberals are a law unto themselves. Mark Carney is all sleazy backroom deals with opacity and tone deafness only terrible temporary workers like Carney could do. Of course, that's expected from Slimeball Carney Clown Show. Next up, we got Danielle Smith absolutely destroying Naheed Nenshi, NDP leader in Alberta. This is a beautiful thing.
To try to cut billions of dollars out of a health budget right now, and yeah, I invite the NDP leader to tell me where. Would he not announce this today? Would he not?
So what she's talking about is they're going to have to go into a deficit to pay for doctors' healthcare costs.
Would he not announce this today? Would he not hire doctors? Would he close down practices? Would he blow up hospitals? Or education? What would he do? Would he not build the schools that we need? Would he not have unrolled the complexity teams that we did so that we can deal with complexity in the classroom? Would he not? Well, we know he wouldn't fix water pipelines. We already saw that demonstrated. He had 11 years to do it and chose not to. Would he not build the Green Line LRT? Well, I guess we know that he didn't have a plan for that either, because it ended up being 5 times what he put on the back of an envelope. So we're making investments in the things that we know Albertans need and want, knowing that this situation we find ourselves in is temporary and that we can weather the storm. But we have to be honest with Albertans about where we find ourselves.
The NDP should shut their mouth about budgets and taxes. There's no political party that can ruin a province like the NDP. Notley was ridiculously inept premier, way in over her head, as was her cabinet. It's a joke that they think they have the answers because they don't. She is smart, fast on her feet, and 100% correct. Needy Nenshi is a has-been leader of a has-been party. Jumping ahead, we've got Heather McPherson humiliating herself to millions of people. So she's put out this post here on X, and well, this is one she can't get back. So she posted, many Canadians, especially members of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, are in Puerto Vallarta, where violence has quickly escalated. A shelter-in-place order is in effect. Please stay vigilant and consult the Government of Canada travel advisories for Mexico. This is ridiculous. Anyone who's seeking leadership, which she is doing right now for the NDP party, should be advocating for the
NDP are so done. They're so cooked. These are the people running to lead the party. Oh my goodness.
Safety of all Canadians, not just the 2 LGBT blah blah blah. As I posted in my reply here, statements like this are the reason you'll never lead Canada. Why are you even running for leadership if you only wanted to lead the alphabet crew? And then I go on to point out here that my own mother—
Oh my god, look at the ratio. Hold on. Look at the ratio. 423 likes, 5.4 thousand comments. Oh my god. That's bad. Only less than 500 people liked the tweet, and well over 5,000 people, most likely all roasting her. Holy Christ right now, guys. You cannot make this up. The ratio is insane. And she's an MP. She's a politician. She's getting destroyed. Like this isn't just like, oh, she's getting made fun of and roasted. She's getting a 2.2 million views. She's getting annihilated. That party's debate between all the people running, all the members trying to run for the head, the NDP is done. Like, they're done.
Is down there right now, and I checked on her yesterday, and she's safe and she's away from that area, but she's not a part of the alphabet crew. Thus, she, for example, wouldn't be a part of the concerns of Heather McPherson. So you can see she got horribly ratioed. This is probably one of the worst ones I've ever seen. 2.2 million views. She has 430 hearts on this. She put this out 24 hours ago. In comparison, I just put up this reply 3
I didn't know he was going to mention it as well, because like the ratio on this is actually horrendous.
hours ago. I have 439 hearts on mine with only 4,400 views. This is beyond embarrassing here. We have practically every creator commenting on this here. I trust the cartel has taken appropriate DEI training to respond appropriately. WTF is wrong with you? Canadians are scared and under threat while you post about orientation. You people in the NDP are complete nut jobs. Yeah, it's pretty scary.
This is gold. This is absolutely gold.
That's going on there. They have trucks, like big box trucks, and then they open the back door, and then there's like a sliding cannon on the back that they just take out other vehicles with. They're commandeering different areas. They're just going to random gas stations and burning them up and burning people's cars, and it's just wild. Meanwhile, Donald Trump did offer to come help deal with that situation, and of course, socialist Claudia Sheinbaum declined that offer, probably because she's in bed with the cartels. Moving ahead, I want to show you an example of how AI is being used at a coffee shop. This coffee shop uses AI to track productivity of baristas and of customers of how long they've been sitting there. This is unreal. So we can see, breaking it down, how many hours or minutes people have been sitting here. 1 hour and 15 minutes, 25, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. We see Alina with 10 cups served, Vika with 10 cups, and Anna with 20 cups. And you can see as she goes to serve another one up here, their number will go up to 11. So it's in fact tracking this. I wondered how much it tracks. Like, does it track if you're handing out sandwiches? Is it just coffee? So the coffee, that looks like a sandwich there. So it looks like it just does coffee. Maybe it's orders, they consider it cups. But you can see as she gives a cup here, this number will go up to 11. You can see this line here. It's tracking.
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I don't like the tracking technology at all. But this is nothing new. I don't know why he believes this is news. I'm just being honest here. You've had tracking and facial recognition in your phone for probably well over a decade now. When you go to, if you have that option, you go to unlock your phone with your face, it's, okay, uses facial recognition and it tracks your face. If you use Snapchat or whatever, any of those apps that put the weird things on your head or your face, guess what it uses? Exactly that. This isn't new technology. It's just, I'm not a fan of it, and I understand why people are pointing it out, but it's not news. All right, moving on.
The honourable member for Pierre Boucher, les Patriotes Verts. Mr. Speaker, I would like to highlight the 70th anniversary of the Montreal Police Voice Symphony, La Fraternité des Policiers et Policières de Montréal. Since 1956, this unique choir, composed exclusively of active and retired police officers, has been warming hearts with the power of its voices and the depth of its commitment. For 7 decades now, it has carried music as a language of unity, emotion, and friendship. Over the years, the Vocal Symphony has given numerous performances for community organizations and events, in seniors' residences, at formal or festive ceremonies, and at the funerals of members of the police service. I'd like to highlight specifically the remarkable contribution of musical director Roland Côté and pianist Denise Roux, whose passion and professionalism have shaped the excellence of this ensemble as it enters its 70th year. I offer my congratulations and best wishes for a long life to the Symphonie Vocale de la Fraternité des Policiers de Montréal.
Is not only a time to look back.
All right, we're going to go back to Nick Shirley while statements by members continues on.
That's what I've been trying my best to do. So thank you so much for your time. God bless you. Thank you. All right, we're moving on in. How's it going? Yeah, of course.
Thanks,
awesome.
dude.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
appreciate you. Yeah. Hey, thank you very much. Big FT, thanks for doing the Lord's work. We appreciate you. And thank you, Randy. All right, guys, I might need some Coke. We'll go talk to him after he's done with that interview. I'm going to get some Coke. Let's see who's in here. I think a lot of them went over to go vote.
He kind of been waiting on us.
Adam?
You want to get some ice? Get some ice.
Get some ice? Less water. You gotta have the ice with no water. There you go. Thank you. I've lately been drinking a lot of Diet Coke. It's probably not been the best. No, I like Diet Coke.
No, it's not healthy.
Yeah, but I like it with the lemon. And it's really good when you drink Diet Coke with the lemon. I put like 3 of them in there. I love that. How's it going?
Hey, how are you? I don't know if you have availability at some point today. But
Yeah, we can sit down and talk to you.
Okay, when you've got time. I don't.
Let's do it right now.
Okay, cool. Great. Thanks.
Nick Shirley's a busy man. Everybody wants to talk to him. Everybody wants to get pictures with him. I mean, let's be real. He put Tim Walz out of business, so he's got a name for himself now. And he does more actual news reporting than legitimate news stations, or air quotations legitimate.
Always good to see you. All right, guys, we're going to sit down and do an interview, I guess.
You don't need this one.
Later today, I think the U.S. hockey team is coming, so hopefully we get to hang out with them for a little bit, which will be epic. They just won the gold, so maybe that will be in the video that we post tomorrow, but we'll just do some interviews, take you guys behind the scenes. Tony, maybe just.
State of the Union time?
Yeah, I'll be there at the State of the Union time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it'll be great.
You ever been in before?
No, I have not.
I haven't either. Never been in the chamber, but
Yeah, I've never been here for the
Yeah.
State of the Union or inside the chamber, so it should be sweet.
it's bananas here today.
Really?
Just all these constituents come in. I'd forgotten that members of Congress, we've done these congressional events before, but they bring guests in for the State of the Union, so it's extra busy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Ready? Okay, cool. Well, his work precedes him. He's got to be one of the biggest figures in digital media today. Nick Shirley, it is good to see you here on Capitol Hill.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Your first visit, kind of in an official capacity, I guess?
I would guess so. Yeah, other times I've been unannounced and I've gone and done my own thing.
I have heard your name bandied about more in the last months than I do most anyone who's been considered a media pro in years. What do you make of your newfound fame, if that's what you want to call it? You probably don't call it that, but that's what it is.
Yeah, it's been different because before all this, people knew who I was as far as like my videos. I had 1 million subscribers on YouTube, but this one really hit all social media. It hit on X, it hit on YouTube, it hit on all platforms, and it really did go worldwide. I'm getting messages from people from Australia and the UK saying we have the same fraud happening inside of our country.
Why did you decide to engage on this front? And tell people, for people that don't know your work prior to becoming sort of the news household name that you've become, what were you known for primarily before?
Before this, I had done videos on immigration, had spoken to illegal migrants that came across the border in the U.S. I did a lot of stuff on the election, had traveled to over 15 countries in the past year and a half making videos about current events, had gone to the prisons in El Salvador, had gone in the favelas of Brazil, had spent times in the streets of Kensington, Philadelphia, the streets of Skid Row, Zombieland and Cracolandia in Sao Paulo. I had done a lot before this. And so
why?
I'm super interested to see how the world works and to see like what's the pressure points of the world and what's making people do the things they're doing, because there's a lot of things happening, a lot of corruption, and a lot of people are dying from things like fentanyl crisis, or you're seeing a lot of issues arise in the West from illegal migration, and there's no other really YouTubers that were documenting it and then also kind of sharing their own opinions on a lot of things. A lot of YouTubers go and make these kind of videos, but they never actually, not pick a side, but they don't ever try to come up with any sort of solution. They kind of just show it for what it is and never say, okay, well, maybe there are people inside the government right now who are trying to bring about some sort of solution, whether that be with fraud or whether that be with illegal immigration. I mean, I saw a lot of people get trafficked over from the United States border, so when Trump says he's going to close the border, I'm stoked about that. I'm going to support that. I'm not going to support the other side that's endorsing that.
Have you spoken to President Trump?
I gave a briefing to him at the White House for Antifa. That was cool.
Yes.
I did that, and I got to shake his hand. That was pretty cool.
What's your impression? If I may ask, and I'm going somewhere with this question. You're 23.
Yeah.
I'm told, now I have a son who's 21 and another who's 20, just turned. I'm told that it is your group that helped elect Donald Trump in big numbers, but it is your group that is falling, Donald Trump is falling out of favor with your group right now. Are you hearing the same, and if so, why?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are upset with the Epstein files, and they're upset with like the affordability. And everyone has the right to be upset with the Epstein files, and I'm still trying to figure out my own opinion on that, because there is so much bad going on with the Epstein files, yet Trump released the files. They're taking a long time to release. They took a long time to release them. He said he was going to release them, but then also Joe Biden and the Democrats could have released them for 4 years. They had complete power. They could have released them, and I think everyone who says that Trump was good friends with Epstein, I don't think that's the case. He was one of the first person to ever report Epstein and his Ghislaine to the FBI, and so I think you're seeing kind of a lot of media manipulation, and I'm thinking Trump's waiting, because a lot of the Democrats didn't even believe in the Epstein.
All right, it looks like we'll be getting into question period very shortly. Here we go. Let's get into this here. Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney. Here we go.
Mr. Speaker, Quebecers are fed up with liberal waste. This liberal prime minister has made inflation increase and double the debt. And now we're seeing the waste, just like with Arrive Can and We Charity. We're seeing this waste with Curem. Under this liberal government, 85,000 seniors are not getting their checks. And yet the Liberal governments are saying this is good news? Does the Prime Minister agree with his House Leader that wasting money and depriving seniors of their checks is a piece of good news? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would like to recognize that today is the 4th anniversary of the beginning of the unjustified and horrifying war that Russia launched against Ukraine. Canada stands with Ukraine. We are providing more humanitarian and military aid today. And regarding the Leader of the Opposition's question, to my knowledge, the Krim process started in 2017. The project, was broadened to other services like OAS.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, this Liberal government wasted $5 billion in cost overruns. And today, when this Prime Minister is in power, 85,000 seniors are not getting their checks. They cannot put food on the table. The Prime Minister has doubled the deficit, saying he didn't have enough money, but apparently he had enough to waste $5 billion. What will the Prime Minister do to put an end to this Liberal scandal, protect taxpayers, and ensure that our seniors will get the money? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, as I just said, the former government began this project with OAS, and then we broadened its scope, and we added EI to it, as well as the GIS and other services. All of the sums have been budgeted for, and this project has already been reviewed by the Auditor General.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians deserve good quality health care. But after a decade of this Liberal government, 6 million Canadians do not have a family doctor. Part of the reason is that mass, out-of-control Liberal immigration has overwhelmed the system. And many of those resources are going to people who are here illegally and have been rejected. There has been a 1,000% increase in the cost of providing deluxe benefits to many people who are here illegally. Will the Prime Minister reverse this policy, support our motion, and put Canadians first for health care?
Hear, hear. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes, Canada is not America. Yes, Canada provides essential health care to everyone in this country. The increase in costs in this program referenced in the opposition motion is a result of the increase in applicants for that program. Now, what has this government done? This government has taken back control of immigration. This government has reduced the number of temporary workers in this country by 50%, the demanders of asylum seekers by 1/3, and we're modern.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The problem is that this government is not taking care of health care for the Canadian people. 6 million do not have a family doctor. 100,000 people died on waiting lists since the Liberals unleashed out-of-control immigration. There are currently literally thousands of people who are waiting for procedures as we speak. The Prime Minister claims he's getting it under control, but it's all an illusion. He's just another Liberal. There has been a 3,000% increase in refugee claims under his out-of-control system. Will he rein it in, support our motion, and put Canadians first? For
Hear, hear. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm looking forward to coming up to my 1-year anniversary as Prime Minister.
Hear, hear.
that time, new asylum claims have gone down by 1/3. During that time, temporary students have gone down by 60%. During that time, temporary workers have gone down by 50%. We have the immigration system under control, and we're supplying the health care Canadians.
Hear, hear. The honourable leader of the opposition.
Has the system under control? Obviously, he's just another Liberal. He thinks it's under control when the cost of deluxe supplementary benefits is up by 1,000%, and the number of refugee claims is up by 3,000%. Meanwhile, under his leadership, and after 11 years of Liberal government, we have 6 million Canadians who cannot find a family doctor. Will he take his head out of the stand, vote for our motion, and give Canadians back the health care they deserve?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, 11 years? I just got here. The member opposite has been here his whole...
I just want to remind. I just want to remind the member for Selkirk, Interlake, Eastman that there is only one person who should be standing at a time in this house. But anyway, the Right Honourable Prime Minister will need to start from the top.
Mr. Speaker, I just got here. The Leader of the Opposition has been here his entire career, with one exception. Now, during the time that Canada's new government has been here, we have reduced asylum seekers by 1/3. We have reduced temporary foreign workers by 50%. We have reduced new students by 60%. And we are putting in place, in front of this House, in C12 and C2, an ability to end the abuse of the asylum system. We look for their support.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister may pretend he just got here like he's a temporary foreign worker or something, but in reality, it's the same Liberal House Leader, the same Liberal Finance Minister, the same Liberal Justice Minister who was the Immigration Minister that broke the entire system that are running it into the ground today. And it's not just health care where there's two-tiered, Mr. Speaker. This Prime Minister keeps in place laws that allow foreign criminals who are visiting Canada to have less time in jail after they commit crimes. Will he get rid of the two-tiered system so that we can lock up serious criminals and then kick them out of our country when they're done their time?
The Right Honourable Prime
Minister. Mr. Speaker, I would encourage, in the spirit of the member's opposite question, support for C2 and C12, which will help to address some of these issues. That's the first point. The second point, Mr. Speaker, when someone commits a crime in this country, they should serve the time in this country.
Hear, hear. L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
The honourable member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, the sponsorship scandal cost around $330 million. The Quebec-Saclay scandal, $1.1 billion. The infamous Phoenix, which is still not over, $5.1 billion. And Currem has now gone from $1.6 billion to $6.6 billion. Is the Prime Minister proud of presiding over the worst financial scandal in the history of Canada? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the project started in 2017. At that time, I was the Governor of the Bank of England, number one. Number two.
Ouais, on y va.
All of the money was budgeted for, including the $6 billion. The honourable member for Belleuil-Chambly. Oh, it's not my fault, Mr. Speaker. Well, in 2019, the Bloc Québécois asked for there be a purchasing power adjustment for retirees. And then after that, there was the pandemic and post-pandemic inflation, which made it even harder for retirees to make ends meet. Also discrimination between retirees over 75 and under. And now we have Curem, which is causing 85,000 retirees to have errors with their checks. Does this Prime Minister realize that his government has mistreated retirees? I'm sure there are retirees in Talbot who are wondering that. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we have strengthened Quebec's healthcare system, number one. Number two, we have strengthened the dental care system in Quebec. We have strengthened Medicare, pharmacare rather, in Quebec.
L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
The honourable member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, because Curem is the biggest financial scandal in the history of Canada, because retirees' purchasing power has been going down since these Liberals, these or the others, they're all the same. Given that this is the case, will this Prime Minister, who says it's not his fault, will he at least cast light on the Curem scandal and call for an independent inquiry? Just like all the others had their own scandals? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the Curem project has already been reviewed by the Public Accounts Committee and by the Auditor General. Both of them have reviewed the project. Everything has been budgeted for. Period.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
We need to restore order and fairness in Canada's immigration system. Conservatives have a clear proposal to end the two-tier healthcare system where failed asylum claimants get access to premium healthcare while Canadians who have paid into the system wait in overcrowded emergency rooms. There is no reasonable justification to oppose fairness for Canadian taxpayers. So why are the Liberals voting to protect a system that puts failed claimants ahead of Canadians?
Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, it is very interesting to us. The Prime Minister outlined all of the ways in which temporary Canadians, asylum seekers, and others, those levels are going down and going down quickly. But it's very interesting to us that after a week away to lick their wounds, the Conservatives returned to Parliament and punched down at some of the most vulnerable people in this world, including, on this most solemn of anniversaries, an amputee child from Ukraine who comes seeking health care in Canada, that they would deny that person.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Calling anybody who questions anything about them names again. In just 10 years, the cost of health care for asylum seekers skyrocketed to $60 million to over $1 billion. That's a 1,500% increase. They can't run away from that. Legitimate refugees deserve protection. That's not the issue here. But failed asylum claimants should not receive premium coverage, while 6 million Canadians cannot find a family doctor and are waiting 12 hours in an emergency room. So I'll ask again, will they restore order and fairness into the system?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, failed asylum claimants are not granted asylum and therefore cannot stay in Canada. The Conservatives need to stop punching down at the world's most vulnerable people. There are legitimate claimants, legitimate refugees on Canadian soil, including people fleeing the war in Ukraine, the anniversary of which we are marking today, and they should be ashamed of themselves for picking on the most vulnerable people on the planet.
honourable member for Riding Mountain.
Mr. Speaker, 6 million Canadians don't have a family doctor, and the average wait time to see a specialist is around 30 weeks. Yet the Liberals keep rejected asylum claimants, people their own refugee board has rejected, fully enrolled in a program with premium health benefits on the same wait list as those Canadians. Does the health minister believe asylum claimants that her own government rejected should be in the same lines as Canadians and genuine refugees? Yes or no?
The Honourable Minister of Citizenship, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, we are focused on strengthening our immigration system and building Canada strong. If the Conservatives were really serious about health care, they would support our investments in hospitals. They would support dental care. They would support pharmacare. They would support the immigration program that I just announced and under Global Talent. And last week, the first physicians, surgeons were picked under that program to care for Canadians and everyone in Canada.
The honourable member for Riding Mountain.
Mr. Speaker, if the Liberals actually cared about genuine refugees, they wouldn't force them to wait in the same healthcare lines as fake asylum claimants. They wouldn't force them to wait in the same backlog as claimants who this government rejected. But they do, and they refuse to fix it. Will the health minister explain to those genuine refugees why rejected claimants are ahead of them on healthcare wait lists?
The Honourable Minister.
Speaker, thank you for that question. We have a robust immigration system. Our system works. We have an IRB board that handles claim. Those that are inadmissible and ineligible are not going to the board. They are ruled out. Those that clearly fit in the system are in there. And we will continue to honor our humanitarian, constitutional, and international obligations.
L'honorable député.
The honourable member for Montmorency Charlevoix. Mr. Speaker, the interim federal health program is a taxpayer-funded program that covers health care for asylum seekers and some other non-citizens at a time when 6 million Canadians do not have a family doctor. And when our system is overwhelmed, we have learned that non-citizens and non-permanent residents can receive benefits that are more generous than those offered to Canadians and Quebecers. This is a matter of fairness. Will the government support our motion to guarantee that non-residents and non-citizens do not get better health care than Canadians? The Honourable Minister of Immigration. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What my colleague said is not true. It is totally untrue. We are strengthening our borders, and we are making it harder for those who wish to abuse our system. We have reduced asylum claims by 30% last year. And C12, which we have adopted, will improve our systems. We are here to work for all Canadians, all Quebecers, and people in every province, including people who really need our help. The honourable member. Well, indeed, the minister mentioned Canadians. Listen. Canadians and Quebecers are the ones who should be getting health care and quality health care, and we should ensure that non-citizens are not getting better health care. We also learned that certain healthcare providers are offering up to by the provincial rates under the interim federal health program. And we have projections that show that the situation is going to get worse by 2030. Will the government support our motion to prioritize Canadians and Quebecers? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we will never endanger the health and security of Canadians. Our program will ensure that all Canadians are safe. We will continue to work hard, and we hope the Conservatives will support us in order to help Canadians, including Quebecers.
Oshawa.
Mr. Speaker, interim federal health program costs have quadrupled in 4 years. Providers are billing up to 5 times the provincial rates for care to rejected asylum claimants. Meanwhile, folks in Oshawa are waiting for care. They can't find a doctor and access to benefits like vision care, physiotherapy, and counseling, despite paying into the system their whole lives. So, rejected claimants are receiving better health benefits than Canadians. Will the Liberals help us make this right and support our Conservative motion that preserves fairness and compassion?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. You know what? The real question is, will the Conservatives stop voting against investments in health care? Will the Conservatives stop voting against things like a national dental care plan, Mr. Speaker, that's deeply connected to the health of Canadians? Mr. Speaker, I agree with my colleague that Conservatives are punching down on the most vulnerable Canadians, and I will say this, we are all in this together. Canadians are united in ensuring that we have a universal health care system that is there for you regardless of your ability to pay.
The Honourable Member for Abitibi-Témiscamingue. Mr. Speaker, 85,000 retirees have experienced errors with their OAS checks because of the current software. And taxpayers are paying for $5 billion in cost overruns. But according to the Liberals, this is good news for Canada. Retirees who are struggling, again according to the Liberals, represent a success story. The Liberals are saying we should celebrate this. Are the Liberals saying that seniors who've been waiting for their pension for 9 months have nothing to complain about?
Ami de l'emploi.
Very distant past. In fact, they prefer benefits to be administered on a 60-year-old system using paper and hand administrated. But that's not what this government has decided to do. We're continuing on the modernization of benefits for all Canadians. This number that the Bloc Québécois continue to use is misleading to Canadians. In fact, it is a sum for the modernization of 3 major pension programs, Mr. Speaker. It is the sum that is invested in Canadians' ability to get their...
Holy, Patty is struggling today to get words out. She is stumbling all over the place.
Mr. Speaker, retirees who've been waiting for their pension for 9 months would love to celebrate with Liberals, but they can't because they have no money left. And taxpayers would love to celebrate, but when they think of everything we could have done with that $5 billion wasted on software problems, they just don't feel like celebrating. Mr. Speaker, the Liberals won't fix the current problems because in their minds, the problem doesn't even exist. Am I making it clear why we absolutely need an arm's length inquiry? The Honourable Secretary of State, Seniors.
I want to be perfectly clear. $1.5 billion has been spent to date. This covers completion of the old age security transformation and development of initial development for employment insurance. $6.6 billion is an upper ceiling for all of the projects that this covers. This amount may never be spent. And this would have been cheaper if it had been undertaken between 2005 to 2015 when the Conservatives were in power and they knew that the tech was from 1966. My mother was only 10 years old. Let me be perfect.
The Honourable Member for Saskatoon West.
Mr. Speaker, 10 years ago, we had a stable immigration system that Canadians were proud of. Now, the Liberals have automated approvals and abandoned security checks from certain countries. People can enter Canada, make a claim for asylum, and receive approval in the mail without even talking to a government official. It's auto approval. And the countries listed will shock you. Iran is on the list, which encourages senior members of the dreaded IRGC to seek refuge here, all with no security checks. Why did this government, including the current Minister of Justice, remove safeguards on Canada's refugee system?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, when you have a series of questions like this that have come on the floor of the House of Commons this week, you have to invite yourself into the conversations that the Conservative Party must have had as they were getting ready. You can imagine them all sitting around saying, what are we going to prioritize this week to help us raise some money? Well, could we tackle perhaps the Canada-US relationship? No, that's just going to upset our members who think Canadians are having a hissy fit. Could we tackle affordability for families? No, that goes against type. Could we do healthcare? Sure, healthcare, but let's make sure we do it in a way that helps no one. Punching down by demonizing refugees, saying you're going to cut healthcare is a blatant political opportunity, not something that's going to help a single person in this country.
The honourable member for Abbotsford South Langley.
Mr. Speaker, when the Prime Minister's former Chief of Staff, the current Justice Minister, and the member for York Southwest and Etobicoke ran the immigration file, their reckless policies broke our asylum system, overwhelming it to the point that the Immigration and Refugee Board were forced to gut critical safeguards just to keep up. Nearly 25,000 individuals were admitted to Canada without a single in-person interview. Why did the Liberals dismantle our critical safeguards for our refugee system and put Canadian lives at risk?
Absolutely.
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, the translation has been difficult to hear over the anti-refugee dog whistle that's been coming through the air in this chamber all afternoon. We are talking of people who are fleeing violence, war, and persecution. Do you not remember the images of the people who died who washed up on the shore, Alan Kurdi from Syria? Have you not sat down with members of the Ukrainian community who have found safe haven in Canada? Have you not had the opportunity to speak with the Afghans?
No, again, I know the Honourable Minister knows this. It's through the chair. It's through the chair. The Honourable Member may, if the noise level drops, maybe the Honourable Member could continue.
Mr. Speaker, let me flip this around. I know that you've had the opportunity to meet with families from Syria because we've worked together during the effort. I know that you've had the opportunity to meet with Afghans who have served alongside the Canadian Armed Forces, and I know that you have supported Ukrainians finding safe haven in Canada, fleeing Putin's war of aggression.
The Honourable Member for Windsor West.
Mr. Speaker, under this government, the asylum system has become so overwhelmed that the Immigration and Refugee Board eliminated key safeguards. Nearly 25,000 claims are approved without an in-person interview, and in some cases, decisions were issued without a direct conversation with an official, which is ridiculous. These policies were put in place when senior members of this government were responsible for the file. The Immigration Minister must explain why these safeguards were removed. Are they not concerned about the safety of Canadians?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, in my role, I have the privilege of speaking with leaders and citizens around this world, and I repeatedly hear that countries respect and want to emulate the immigration system in this country. In addition, I would ask the opposition to vote with us on Bill C-12. This is a reform to strengthen our asylum system. We've also recently announced changes to the interim health care program by introducing certain services relating to co-payment. These are responsibly fiscally important moves.
The Honourable Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
I want to go back to something that the Government House Leader and the Justice Minister said. Since 2020, 86% of failed asylum claimants are still in Canada, and 100% of those people are receiving taxpayer-funded benefits that are better than most Canadians receive, like vision care and physiotherapy. How is it punching down to ask that we restore fairness by limiting the benefits of failed asylum claimants to emergency life-saving care?
The Honourable Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. This new government takes these issues very seriously. That is exactly why our mandate was to restore immigration, to strengthen our immigration system. And yes, I agree with the Foreign Affairs Minister. Our system is the envy of the world. And we are proud of the system that we have. We have curbed the asylum by 1/3. We have introduced measures to bring physicians, healthcare workers, global talent, work with them.
Shit, man.
The Honourable Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
The Justice Minister just dismissed the fact that the Liberals are rubber stamping and approving asylum claims from Iran without an in-person interview.
Insane.
This is the type of sloppy, far-left Liberal garbage that has undermined Canada's consensus for immigration.
Let's go! Michelle's had enough. Michelle she's going fucking scorched earth. Let's go!
I don't know if we'll find that word on a list of I'm not sure that word falls on an official list of unparliamentary language, but anything that creates disorder is unparliamentary. So I'll ask the honourable member to continue, but please do not use incendiary language.
Mr. Speaker, the Justice Minister made light of the crisis that Canada's immigration system is facing in Canada right now. I have to ask the Immigration Minister this. How does she feel about having to clean up the mess of a man who made the mess and failed upwards in this government?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Here, here. Mr. Speaker, throughout question period and throughout the debate in the House today, we've heard immigrants and refugee and asylum claimants be linked to criminals, be told that their claims are all bogus. This is false, Mr. Speaker. When someone's case is determined to be invalid, when the process is complete, their work permit is cancelled and so is their health care, Mr. Speaker. The Conservatives are just trying to divide Canadians. They're not trying to improve health care by any means. If they were, they would have voted for dental care. They would not be creating two-tier systems in in provinces across this country. They're not concerned about
Nothing burger answer. Word salad, nothing else.
For Etobicoke Lakeshore.
Mr. Speaker, today marks the 4th anniversary of Russia's barbaric and illegal invasion of Ukraine. As we sit in this House, our friends in Ukraine continue to make sacrifices as they bravely fight for their freedom. Can the Minister of Foreign Affairs share with this House how Canada is working to support Ukraine and Ukrainians in their time of need?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, on this 4th anniversary of the illegal further invasion by Russia of Ukraine, Canada continues to stand with Ukraine in the short and the long term. This morning, I announced $20 million in support for Ukraine's energy infrastructure. In addition, this brings our total investments for Ukraine and supports to $25.5 billion. Mr. Speaker, Canada stands with Ukraine and makes sure that we are there with our allies so Ukraine can fight and win this war. Slava Ukraini.
The honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Mr. Speaker, young people in Canada today are worse off than their parents' generation. They can't find jobs, they can't afford homes. The pain that young people face is leading to delayed family formation and to increasing hopelessness. Now, an RBC poll out today shows that 2/3 of millennials are anxious about their financial future, and more than half are concerned about current cash flow. It's not like it was 10 years ago. Will Liberals now listen to young people and reverse course on policies that have blocked opportunity for the next generation?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Children and Youth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This government is there in support of all Canadians, including with a first-time homebuyers tax credit and a number of other measures to increase affordability and build homes at scale. That is just one of the many ways that we are there. We are investing in apprenticeships, in job training, in Canada Summer Jobs. There is a great deal of opportunity and investment, and it would be great to have the Conservatives cease their obstruction, in particular on the National School Food Program, work at committee, which they have continued to filibuster, and get on side. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Mr. Speaker, actually at that committee, Liberals are opposing our efforts to study food inflation, which is more than double what it is in other jurisdictions. And their budget is weakening trading by defunding career colleges. We've put constructive proposals on the table to unleash the economy, to fix immigration, to fix training, and to build homes where the jobs are. Liberals could simply take our good ideas instead of of doubling down on failure, defunding students at career colleges, and continuing to block development that creates jobs and opportunity? Why are they unwilling to take the solutions we've offered? Why instead are they standing in the way of progress for young people?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, we are giving Canadians a boost across this country, up to $12 million with the grocery benefit that will reach families with up to $1,900 this year to give them a boost. I was at the Daily Bread Food Bank in Etobicoke recently, who were very happy about this increased GST rebate, as well as with the National School Food Program that we are using to fight food insecurity. We're investing in greenhouses and a national strategy on food security. Again, it would be great to have the members' collaboration to fight food insecurity together in this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Long Range Mountain.
Mr. Speaker, a recent poll by the Royal Bank of Canada shows 64% of millennials are worried about their future, 57% have little or no money left at the end of the month, and 4 in 10 fear that they will never pay off their debts. In Newfoundland and Labrador, the aspiration of home ownership has been the cornerstone of community stability and has long been within reach. But after 11 Liberal years of rising house costs, inflationary deficits, and higher taxes, young Canadians are being locked out of the dream of home ownership. When will this government finally lower costs and create an economy where young Canadians can afford to live?
The Honourable Minister of Fisheries and Oceans.
Mr. Speaker, this member likes to stand in the House and talk about what she feels her constituents need, but she actually needs to talk to them and ask if the building houses matter in her riding. Supports for rural communities in her riding matters. $10 a day child care. School food program. These things matter to the members in her riding because they talk to me.
The Honourable Member for Long Range Mountain.
Mr. Speaker, if Liberal programs worked, young Canadians would be getting ahead, not watching the dream of home ownership slip further away. According to CREA, the average sale price in St. John's has increased by nearly 10% from 2024 to 2025. This generation has done everything right. They should be building wealth and home ownership, but instead they're falling further behind and they're losing hope. How much worse does affordability have to get before this government lowers costs and makes it possible for young Canadians to build a future in this country?
Hear, hear. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to remind this member from Newfoundland and Labrador that she needs to read Budget 2025. Because in that budget, she will notice that there are strong supports for youth across this country and within our province. Opportunities for them to further their education. Programs that build houses, affordable houses in communities. Build this country through major projects that will see young people working and home ownership follows. The member needs to read the budget.
The Honourable Member for New Tecumseh, Gwillimbury.
Mr. Speaker, it's unbelievable. Only 269 new homes were sold in the GTA last month. The worst ever on record for new home sales. But it's not because Canadians don't want to buy, it's because they can't afford the homes being built. The Liberals' failure to address out-of-control immigration, rising inflation, and red tape has resulted in an entire generation being priced out of the market. Why is this government making it so hard for Canadians to afford a home?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This government is focused on making housing more affordable across the board. That's right. Starting with our new home buyers, our first-time home buyers getting a tax break. Build Canada Homes has almost 9,000 homes now in development in cities across the country. Supportive housing was announced last week with BC, 700 homes for those who are at risk of homelessness. Mr. Speaker, we are delivering. We need support on the Build Canada Homes Act from the opposition to go farther.
Honourable Member for New Tecumseh, Gwillimbury.
You're not delivering. Young Canadians are flat broke.
I'm going to take that personally. Through the chair, please.
Mr. Speaker, young Canadians are flat broke and falling behind. 57% are reporting they have no money left at the end of the month. 4 in 10 fear they will never pay off their debt. Mr. Speaker, they literally have one foot in the grave and one on a banana peel. Canadians are draining their savings while their dreams of owning a home, starting a family, and building a secure life have been shattered. Instead of making things even worse, when will this Liberal government lower costs so young Canadians can afford to live?
The Honourable Minister.
Well, that's what Build Canada Homes is all about. We have a plan to deliver. We are delivering, and the experts are weighing in on this. Mr. Speaker, the Canadian Housing and Renewal Association said it clearly. Build Canada Homes is, and I quote, an important step towards addressing the housing crisis, building homes at speed and scale, ensuring affordability, and listening to the community housing sector. Mr. Speaker, we have an opportunity to deliver for Canadians. This whole House should stand in unison to support the Build Canada Homes Act.
The Honourable Member for Richmond Hill South.
The dream of home ownership has been shattered by a decade of Liberal policies and rhetoric. Only 269 new homes were sold in the entire Toronto area in January. Sales are down 36% from last year and 80% below the 10-year average. The last time it was this bad was the early 1990s. The Prime Minister promised build, baby, build, but the only thing this Liberal government seems able to build is more office space for more bureaucrats, for more layers of bureaucracy. So when will this Liberal government stop obstructing builders, stop doubling down on failed policies, and finally scrap the GST on all new homes?
The Honourable Minister of National Defence.
Mr. Speaker, this morning we announced a Phase 2 addition of 7,500 new residential units in 25 locations across the country. Already more than 800 new residential housing units are underway. The shovels are in the ground. Valcartier, Petawawa, and Edmonton, 1,000 new units. Kingston, 900 new units. Gagetown, 500 new units. Mr. Speaker, we are delivering for the Canadian Armed Forces, and we're delivering for our economy.
The Honourable Member for Richmond Arthabasca. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Curam Software. Original budget, $1.6 billion. Actual cost, $6.6 billion. Cost overrun, $5 billion. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, the Liberals told us that this is a success story. That's what they said. Who in the Liberal cabinet will step up to take leadership in this fiasco, in this financial fiasco? That's the question. Who will take care of the 85,000 seniors who are waiting for their money? Who? Anyone? That's Liberal leadership for you, Mr. Speaker. No one is dealing with this. The Honourable Government House Leader. Mr. Speaker, my colleague is in the House of Commons because he tried to be an actor, but he failed at that, at drama school. But as we've said, as the other ministers have said, as all those responsible for this have said, we are replacing outdated technological systems. This system is within budget, and any glitches will be fixed, Mr. Speaker. My colleagues are welcome to send me any issues they know of. The Honourable Member for Louis Saint Laurent, Akiawenrak. Mr. Speaker, 85,000 Canadian seniors are experiencing problems, and for some of them, this is their only source of revenue. This is the problem, Mr. Speaker. There are 85,000 seniors affected, and yesterday the Minister of Transportation said that there were just a few cases. 85,000. A success story, they said. 85,000. This is Liberal arrogance in full display. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is an honourable, very honourable man. So can he rise and admit that they've made a mistake? The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
That the Prime Minister is an honourable man, and that's why I'm so confident to serve under his leadership. And on the issue of Curam, Mr. Speaker, it would be great if we had some honourable conversations about the real facts of this case. In fact, Mr. Speaker, 7.7 million seniors have been transferred to the new system without any delay. And in fact, the number that the opposition keeps repeating are new applicants, Mr. Speaker. We have a process as well for urgent cases. I've asked the member opposite to come to me with those urgent cases, and we can get people their benefits started within 24 to 48 hours. Mr. Speaker, there is
The honourable member for Halifax.
Monsieur le Président, on est tout.
Mr. Speaker, all of us in this place agree that tuberculosis rates in Inuit Nunangat and in many First Nations communities are still too high. These rates of tuberculosis reflect historical discrimination and the lasting effects of colonization. Can the Minister of Indigenous Services tell the House what our new government is doing to eliminate tuberculosis by 2030? Thank you.
L'honorable ministre.
The Honourable Minister of Indigenous Services. Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleague for this very important question. In order to eliminate tuberculosis, we are investing in innovative approaches led by Inuit. We are working to improve people's health in the most at-risk communities, and in order to do so, we have just announced additional investment, significant investment, to find solutions to tuberculosis rates in Inuit Nunangat.
With ITK and Inuit treaty organizations to better support prevention, screening, and diagnosis.
The honourable member for Brantford, Brant South, Six Nations.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Liberal revolving door policies strike again. Today in Toronto, a criminal while out on bail was convicted of stabbing a male 7 times on the subway, causing life-altering injuries and permanent trauma, is now walking free. The judge called him a high risk to reoffend, and now his victim fears for his life. How many more innocent Canadians have to be stabbed, shot, or terrorized before this government stops propping up a broken system and actually starts protecting victims?
The Honourable Secretary of State for combating crime.
Mr. Speaker, cases like this are exactly why we brought in C-14.
That's right.
I'm glad to report that C-14 has passed on to the Senate. The Senate is doing its work. There will be bail reform in that bill. There are harsher sentences for those that commit crimes. And I'm glad that, that we'll be able to tackle this issue. Mr. Speaker, my role has been put in place because we are a tough on crime government, and we'll do everything that it takes to make sure we don't have incidents like this.
Honourable member for Brantford, Brant South, Six Nations.
The tragic case, Mr. Speaker, is a direct result of Bill C-5 and 75 laws that weaken bail, water down consequences, and fueled a revolving door for violent crime. Conservatives have repeatedly fought to strengthen bail and early release and keep violent offenders behind bars. We have offered to work with this government, yet these Liberals vote down tougher laws Conservatives propose, choosing ideology over public safety. How many more Canadians have to be violently attacked before this government admits its laws are failing? Hear, hear.
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, 1/3 of all legislation that we've brought forward has been tough on crime legislation, Mr. Speaker. Justice reform, public safety bills, and many of these measures have moved forward and progressed, but there are some measures that have not moved forward at all because the Conservatives have been obstructing those measures, Mr. Speaker. We need to be able to provide law enforcement with the tools that they need, the advancement that is needed, and lawful access measures are a part of that regime. I would like the Conservatives to work with us, Mr. Speaker.
Hear, hear.
The honourable member for Kamloops, Thompson, Nicola.
Mr. Speaker, a man was recently sentenced to 2 years less a day for possessing over 2,600 images of child sexual abuse and exploitation material. Let's remember that it is Parliament's jurisdiction to set sentencing ranges, and that is why I put forward a bill last Parliament to raise sentences for those who commit sexual offences against kids. Make no mistake, I believe everybody in this chamber wants to protect children. But if that's the case, will the Liberals commit today as to when they will introduce legislation that will strengthen our sentencing for those who possess these criminal and awful materials?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to answer the honourable member's question directly. It was during the fall sitting last year. We put forward legislation that is going to increase sentences for a range of sexual crimes. And, Mr. Speaker, we are also going to be restoring mandatory minimum penalties, including for child pornography charges following the Senate bill decision of the Supreme Court. But on this side of the House, we know that it is not enough to punish bad actors after a crime has taken place. That's why I would urge all members of this House to get behind the government's efforts to pass Bill C-2 so we can actually adopt a lawful access regime, give cops the tools they need to put criminals behind bars and keep our kids safe.
The honourable member for Labrador.
Mr. Speaker, we know how important it is that Inuit children have timely and equitable access to the health, social and educational supports they deserve. The Inuit Child First Initiative has been instrumental in helping to close long-standing gaps, ensuring that Inuit children are not left behind. Could the Minister of Indigenous Services please update this House on her recent announcement and explain how it will further strengthen supports for Inuit children and families, including those in my own riding of Labrador? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Indigenous Services.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank my colleague for his question, and I'm really pleased to be able to respond to him in affirming the announcement of $115 million towards renewed funding for the Inuit Child First Initiative that will reach those children and families in his riding and like mine. I want to thank my constituents who expressed their support for this progress. I'm looking forward to continuing to deliver in this space. Of course, we are going to be doing long-term work in partnership with our colleagues to ensure that we are able to determine the future next steps of this process. Thank you.
The honourable member for Lévis-Lotbinière. Mr. Speaker, Liberals have shut down the experimental farm in Saint-Augustin-des-Maures and the research centre at Laval University in the riding represented by the Minister of Public Services and Procurement. It is unanimous that this decision will have long-term consequences for our food sovereignty and Canadian expertise. Mr. Speaker, agricultural research funding is already the poor cousin under these Liberals. The Prime Minister has stated that a country that cannot feed itself has limited options. Why is the government not walking the talk?
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now more than ever, it's vital we find ways to streamline our services and focus our efforts in the right place, Mr. Speaker. I've had the opportunity to sit down with Laval University and talk about AAFC and the partnerships that we have. Streamlining research and collaboration with academia and the private sector will prioritize our high-impact areas and duplication and align ourselves for the future. We are going to continue to be the biggest science entity in the country, Mr. Speaker, and we will use that to our advantage in our trade negotiations.
The honourable member for Edmonton Strathcona.
Mr. Speaker, the Canada Health Act guarantees Canadians universal access to public health care. But Danielle Smith is creating a private system that will hollow out health care in Alberta and spread to other provinces, making the crisis across the country even worse. At the same time, Canadians in 9 provinces and territories still have no access to national pharmacare, and the health minister won't even meet with the Canadian Health Coalition to talk about it. Is the Prime Minister deliberately letting Canadian health care erode, or does he simply not care enough to protect it?
Here, here. Excellent.
L'honorable ministre.
The Honourable Minister for Health. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As my colleague knows, I will always stand up for, and my government will always stand up for the Canada.
That is going to do it. As soon as the NDP pops up, that's how you know question period's over. And any conservative motion that is brought up will be shut down. So that's going to do it for today's live stream. Thank you all for joining on YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Adios, everybody. Have a great rest of your day or night. Oh, man. Look at this guy.
Credit form is worsening the strain on family doctors and limiting access to the Canada Disability Benefit. Instead of fixing the problem, Budget 2025 sets aside $10 million to help people